I'm gonna tidy all of this up and then I will start wetting the brick. I'm going to be plastering with a base coat of lime. Look at that.
Borja just put a section thing on his head to entertain Danteo and it bruised his head.
We're working on the servants' bathroom at the main estate. It's a slow process as we have to balance the renovation with maintenance and the reality of having a child.
So I've come to finish this off today. We did this yesterday and today I'm just kind of feeling, you know, around the perimeter. I'm also in the main estate because we're waiting for an armchair. Now, so annoying. It's always one delivery company that doesn't matter if you're here all day, you know, you're waiting for the times and then you're here waiting and then suddenly you receive a message saying like failed delivery, people wasn't in, and it's like, we are here. Anyway, so I'm gonna get this done while I'm waiting and I'm hoping that best case scenario is that I'm in the middle of it and then they just arrive and then I'll just sort it out. Okay, so I have done the little border and around there, I've just went on board like a floor protection just to put over the top of the shower tray. And it's just one of those you just buy anywhere, and it's a little bit padded, and it's got plastic underneath. So I'm just going to now use some tape to just, you know, tape it around, and then it will be like a protection while we do the works. Because the last thing I want is that after all this work, get scratched or something. So that'll be good. So lime mortar arriving. I'm going to be plastering with a base coat of lime around the window and then up to the boiler. So just this section. Now, a lot of it is going to be covered over anyway, but I think it's going to look much tidier. It will add to the strength of the wall, and all in all, I think it's the right thing to do. I'm going to be chiseling out these sections of old plaster. I've got a hammer, but I mean, a lot of the times they can just come by themselves. And then I'm gonna plaster all of this section. I might just remove these little bits so to butt the lime plaster onto that. Now this is very important because we're gonna have the washing machine tumble dryer there. So Dean wants to make sure that it kind of goes as far as possible to the wall to gain space. And then here it just looks a bit naff. And I just thought, well, I can do everything is coming off quite easily. So I just thought I'll just do everything in one go to make it look nice and even. So here you go. Okay, let's assess the situation. So yeah, does not look the prettiest. The view is amazing though, but you know, 5 to 6 hours and it's gonna look much tidier. You can see that over time, because of the you know, water dam going in, it was bubbling, and obviously it should not come out as easy. You know, I think like some of them, it's a mix of like old mortar, cement mortar, there's a bit of a mix of everything. Especially these, you can see that it is super strong. So I'm gonna put it back with a base coat of lime, which is gonna be like that. And then I think that I need to slowly kind of like transition it in, and this will be then finished in the same. So that's gonna be a bit of a quirky transition, but I think I can make it work quite nicely by going like that. I don't know, something like that. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm gonna tidy all of these up, and then I will start wetting the brick. And the reason why you wet the brick is like thirsty, right? Imagine it's very dry, it's very thirsty. So if I was to kind of apply a wet lime mortar base, the brick will suck all the water and it will dry and then it will crack. So we don't want that. So what we want is like, basically, I wet all the bricks so it kind of like takes all of the thirst, drinks all that it needs. And then when I apply it, the brick is not absorbing the water from the lime plaster, so then it can sort of like, you know, over few days and weeks be curing slowly, because that's what you need to do. So you can see we use pre-mixed lime, and can you see all of these little fibers? It looks like it's like these would have been originally horsehair, and now it's synthetic. So I got my spray bottle full of water, and I just basically, as I said, I need to drench the wall. Now I want you to kind of like just see what I was talking about, a thirsty brick. I haven't done anything there, okay? Look how quickly the water will dry out. The brick, straight away, it will just soak the water and it dries again the surface. So I have to kind of do it until I can see the water is not being absorbed by the brick. Going over, so remember that all of these are going to be boxed out anyway. I just need to do a bit more prep work around that corner, and then I will start all the way to the boiler. This is the base coat. I know it doesn't look like much, but remember, in tomorrow, a couple of days, I will scratch this off because we'll have to put another one on top. But this looks much tidier. Look at that. How good is that looking? Really nice curves as well. And I managed to already like starting to blend in this section, because I will have to do with a finishing coat that and into the wooden side section. I've also done that section over there, and if we go outside, I've done this section and that section. So it doesn't look perfect because it's a base coat. Now remember that here we're gonna create some sort of like cool old cupboard type. We have an idea, but we don't really know, and the toilet will go right there. So I think it's gonna look very pretty. This part of the maintenance that we have to do. So this is what no one wants to see.
Bane of our life, maintenance.
Yeah.
Don't get a big house if you don't want maintenance.
Dean is meant to kind of be literally leaving 10 minutes ago, but we have had so much rain. The moss is going into the hoppers, and what that is doing is clogging them, and then water is going into the walls, and then potentially there's a damage. So we try to avoid that. I don't go up here because I'm scared. Or to be fair, because Dean's done it another one of those anymore. That's good soil though.
Soil from the sky.
We are so good at creating a room, creating a space, but we hate the maintaining the space, you know? So we could do with creating it, and then ideally we have got, you know, a full-time maintenance person, a full-time cleaning person that could just help us keep everything looking beautiful. But unfortunately, it's not the case.
Then there are the things you can't predict.
The hardest part of it is when something happens, you know, like a crack appears, or the paint is flaking, you know, a floorboard has lifted, or something that's happened that we've already finished in our heads in one of the previous spaces, but it's just inevitable.
Just got home, and it's really, really windy here, and one of the sashes has just blown out, and we have 5 broken panes now to restore.
And that's really hard, because then it gets added to our to-do list, and it gets added to our active to-do list. We have many to-do lists.
This is the third time we've had to repair this sash window in the main house.
It's very early in the morning. I woke up and it was gone, and I just rang him and I was like, "Were you done?" And he's like, "Give me this very long list of things." And I'm like, "What time did you wake up?" He's like, 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He can't sleep. He just needs to kind of get things done to be able to get it out of his brain. We're trying to kind of get some jobs done to be able to compensate for the time that we're not working. And I finally have this sash window done. So I'm going to show you a little trick, because basically I just paint over the edges and then I just remove it with a blade, and then I will clean it, and hopefully then will be able to help me hang it back up. So if you've seen, I've gone completely over without regards on the side, but I wouldn't have a really nice clean edge. So what I'm gonna do with a sponge, a soap, I'm just gonna go over, just to make sure that my blade, I'm cleaning it, but also my blade can run easier. Now I'm gonna get my blade carefully. This super sharp is a new blade, and I'm just gonna go over the top first, very carefully, just marking it. So I'm not putting any pressure at all, because it's a sharp end. And because I've done the first line first, then it just comes off right away. And then I will clean it all off, and I will get it ready before dinner arrives.
Now, he won't scratch the glass as long as he's sliding the blade along, but you have to score a line there so that it doesn't peel all the paint off the wood as well. This times 100, and then he's done.
Like that was a 5-minute job.
I know, you wanted to do the one every week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tired of doing 9 a.m. Let's put back and roll back. What have you got in your head? What have you got in your head?
I'm bruised. Oh my god.
Borja just put a section thing on his head to entertain Danteo, and he bruised his head. Oh my goodness.
We really got into a fight. You can see the mark of the Oh my gosh.
This is the culprit. This is what I had when I was a kid, and he'd been putting it on his head as a suction thing. Entertaining Danteo.
No, te lo vayas a poner, te va a pasar lo mismo.
Oh my god. It's like someone's giving you a really big love bite on your head.
Mama. Oh my god. I still have my... I think I already explained what happened here, my bruise. I just put like a section thing here to kind of entertain Teo, and it did bruise. I forgot how to now I look at it, it's like, oh my god, it looks ridiculous. So the reason why I'm here, this is we call it the wood store. It's in the main Georgian house, but we keep everything in here, everything wood related. And I remember we have got some old beams. They painted, they're not the prettiest, but I'm thinking to kind of like, I need something like that to create what is going to be the boiler cupboard. It might be that we have to paint them, because some of them they already painted, but I'm just going to try to see what I can find that I think is going to look right. Now you can see we have got pieces in here. So these pieces we have either, you know, someone's given it to us and we thought, well, we'll keep them. We bought them, we found them in a reclamation yard, anything old, because we never know what it can be used. And so we don't throw anything away. We're proper hoarders for that. So to make our job easier, we kind of need something like this. I like the roughness of these. I mean, I think that there was woodworm in this. I don't know if it's still active or not, actually. I was just thinking something like that, because then we can paint it, but I don't know if it's stolen off. And then potentially we will use the more character it has is if it's like they bend like that, you know, because then that looks more original. Look at that. And then we just need to kind of like agree on the section. I think that's pretty. So maybe that for the side. So I need to find something similar, and then a long enough, which might be this one actually. So these are the beams that I have selected. We don't really know yet how we're going to install it. Dean is saying everything is a problem.
No, I'm not saying it's a problem. It's just obviously, imagine getting a contractor to do this. Like, it's not going to happen, is it? Finding some old beams and be like, I want it up there. It costs you an absolute fortune. So everything we're doing is quite bespoke and not off the shelf. So it's a bit harder to do.
So we need to think about the ways of how to do it, how to attach it, how to everything.
And this has probably got woodworm, so we're going to have to spray it with something as well.
Yeah. I'm just warning everybody that depending on how it looks, we might have to paint it, which that was the original plan because I didn't know what we had, just to make sure, because it's hard to match all the different woods. And then at the same time, we are already laying the breathable membrane on the original lime plaster walls, so they don't look very good, but they are solid. So the only way of doing it here is just to conceal the pipes.
Yes, that's the whole point of it. We're building the stud wall to conceal all the pipes, all the electrics, because there's no way we could get these pipes into the wall without completely destroying the walls.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a self-contained wall on the inside. So we're building a house within a house.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's do it. Let's keep going. So this is getting a little bit complex because we have to put... Sorry, I'm just trying to cover the thing that blew in my forehead. So we're trying to work out sink location based on the shower, based on having enough gap here for when we are concealing the boiler. We want to have a washer dry underneath. So obviously we need to consider that the door that we're going to put can open and then we can fit a washing machine and take it out if we need to change it for whatever reasons. So the trick thing is how far can we have the sink.
I also really like the idea of having this sink here centralized over this beam, so this beam up here.
Yeah.
Because imagine having a mirror and if it's off kilter by a little bit, I think it'll look weird. Or I'd notice it, even though not many people could plan that, but because we're at this point, I thought we could plan it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think we're going to have to not use the door that we were originally going to use.
Okay.
And we'll use the IKEA hinges that we always use, make a door. Even if it's just a solid panel door, you know, not hugely detailed, because it doesn't need to be. You don't have to put focus on it. Just paint it the same colour as the walls, push click or something.
Okay, I want to think about that. Okay, because you see, we literally, this is how we design. We had like a principal idea and then we have to kind of basically be working as it goes along to make sure that looks good.
That's the great part about doing everything, is that you can actually consider every little bit. Like you wouldn't ever be able to consider, oh, let's put the sink directly under an existing beam.
No.
But because we're messing about with everything, we potentially can. And I like if there's a bit more space between the sink and the shower.
Yeah, me too. To clean the glass.
I'd rather compromise on the door, but we do need to make sure that you can slide the washing machine in.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to clean up this. Borja's telling me what to say.
I was going to say, because he's been telling me how much he hates my idea, how I'm like the one that always comes up with ideas and then he has to make it happen.
Well, do you want to show your forehead for your great idea you had? So we're doing the hard job, which is putting beams in. Borja's going to clean up and take all these nails out here, and then we're going to cut it down to size. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get it. This will be this corner post for this cupboard. Sounds simple to do, but I don't think it's going to be. This is the stud wall. We've got to hide all our pipes in. We'll add a bit of insulation as well, just to improve the wall performance. We're going to leave that little beam on show. We're just going to do some lime plastering there, down here, finish off this wall. And then I'm going to show you some detail we've done. So we've done a step in the stud wall here so that when we tile, we can tile and the tiling will be flush with the outside plasterwork. Let's see if it turns out how we imagine. I'm hoping it does.
We're working out the outer corner. There's going to be the beam position, which is going to be the upright. It's going to go all the way up into the ceiling. Now the challenge here is obviously we only have one cut, we only have one beam.
And the floor isn't level.
The floor isn't level. I mean, it's as level as I managed to kind of get it. And obviously the ceiling. So, yeah, big challenge here. So we have only cut the one side, the fin that was coming out, and now we are working out that it may not even be tall enough. So everyone's gonna pray, please, for us.
No!
Oh no, you should have.
No, we could potentially lift it with some screws, have a little shadow gap at the bottom. No. It catches there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well that saves us cutting.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's
As
great.
level as an old beam's going to be.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah, and I think we just need to potentially oil this up once we've...
I think we'll treat it with the thingy. I will do with the a stiff wire brush. But yeah, and it's got a nice shadow gap actually, you can't even tell.
Yeah, once we've got all the other timber fixings in, it's going to hold it much tighter.
Yay. So we're gonna have a lot of storage there, which everyone always loves, and then the beams are gonna still go across. We're gonna
and we've got nice of the toilets like inset
Yes.
in this little recess, which will be lovely.
That'll be really nice.
You're holding it too much.
The old-fashioned way of cutting timbers. Also, it's because it doesn't fit in the machine. Okay, so we have got now the one across.
He wants a batten running around like this, which we're going to do the same level
Yeah.
as that one there. This is the corner beam, and then what we're going to do is going to create a cupboard down here for a washer dryer, a cupboard up here for access to this, but even we could have hanging in here, there's that much space. And then we're going to have another beam returning back to this wall as well.
Which that's going to be, then the toilet is going to be there. That's going to be all with like lime plaster, so it's going to feel like all very nice, very cottage, with lots of storage, and it's just going to make it's going to make all sense when it's all put together. So I'm on my own today. I am doing a little bit more of stud work because we ran out of studs yesterday, so I went and buy some. And I am aiming, sorry, I'm not speaking very well this morning. So I am aiming to get this wall and that wall to the point of having plasterboard, which is like a special one, which is like no dam or anything like that. Very expensive. And that should be ready pretty much to tile, because we're gonna tile this. We're gonna have marble all the way up to the top in this case. And then I'm going to do as well here and here. Then we'll have to wait for Dean because he does do the all the pipe work and so on. I'm putting some acoustic insulation as well. I am going to be working on a detail here to cover this section up. So quite a few bits to do. My mum is looking after Danteo, so I don't know if we said, but she's come over from Spain for a few weeks so we can push this along. And thankfully between my mum, Dean's mum and Dean's sister, we got it covered for a few hours during the day. So we can come here, then go to work, do, in my case, a good 4 to 5 hours, head down and get on with it. And you'll be surprised how much we can get done now. So I've added more timbers. This is like just what I'm gonna put behind, which is soundproof insulation, and this is just only because of where the pipe is, so I want to try to kind of like soundproof it. And also this wall I put it as well. Why? Just because I had extra. I'm not worried about like insulation of heat, because that is the wall is exterior, which is that's the one that we're gonna do. But now what I'm gonna do is, with my heat gun and my mask on, I'm just gonna remove the last sections of paint on the beam. So you can see all of these beams, they were all covered with paint. We removed the majority, there's still some. I'm gonna try to remove it as much as I can, and then then do some work afterwards. The heat gun on the paint is not worked as I thought. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go more like a chemical route, which is, I'm using this, which is called cling strip. What it is like a paste that I'm going to be adding on these sections, and I'm covering it over with plastic film. what that does is like the rest is just a very thin layer of paint. It should kind of like take it off the wood and come off with it. It's quite messy, so we always try to avoid it, but we know it works. So I'm just gonna do that on these little sections because I do want to see the beam, the wooden beam. I think it will be very nice once everything is lime plastered and you see that little section.
So can you see it's like a big paste, and now what I'll do is like I apply it here. It's to be quite thick. It has to be quite thick. So I'm gonna do that in all the sections where there is wood to make sure it goes in on the deep area as well, and then I'll cover it with the plastic.
So here I am removing these. I might have to like leave it longer, but if you see, you can see like this is darker because it's the paint is coming off. That's what we want it. I have to put another layer and then just leave it overnight in the inner sections, but not bad at all. So I've cleaned as much as I can. You can see there's still some more paint. So I'm gonna put more before I leave and leave it to work. I've also created this shape, which this is basically is a cover piece, which it was very tricky because I had to kind of go all around and so on. We're gonna tile over here and then I will cut that just so basically the tile butts onto something. This will be like nice and flush, and I will paint it the same color, so it's gonna have like a nice sort of like steps. So that'll be nice, but that was tricky. So I'm gonna do a little bit more work here and just apply a little bit more before I go. Okay, so I'm gonna finish for today. I have prepared all of this section. I've put some button there as well, so when the gets runs all of the plumbing, it should be quite fast and easy. Oh yes, I'm just gonna put like this section, tidy it up. So yeah, and I'm hoping that I split it all up, so when I've got the next, it's just going to be a couple of days doing more of these boring work before I start plastering.
So prepping everything ready for winter.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift all of my Dahlia collection. So here we are.
Here we are.
Creating a longer window sill.